And that 2011 Navy SEAL operation that killed Osama bin Laden was extraordinary. Not only did the SEALs kill the man we all wanted dead, but they also grabbed a treasure trove of information, bin Laden's documents. How did they get so much critical evidence so quickly? Retired SEAL Team 6 Commander Congressman Ryan Zinke joins us. Good evening, sir.
Great to be with you, Greta.
So tell me, sir, they weren't on the ground very long. I mean, what did I assume that they trained to get in there and get everything in sight?
Well, they do. These are pros. Sensitive site exploitation is what they do. They'll look at computers, wrap everything up, and grab as much information as they can. Things that are obvious, things that would not be obvious to some. Cell phones, laptops, any documents. Wrap it up, and a lot of the analysis is away from the target when they're in a safer area.
Ambassador John Bolton was just on, and he said that he would be reluctant, I can't remember his exact words, reluctant to release even the 100 or so documents we got today, because he thinks that somehow may tip our hands a little bit to the enemy. What's your thought on releasing those documents? And you know, there's supposed to be maybe 1 million pages we don't have.
Well, when you release documents, you let the enemy know what you have, and oftentimes, you know, I think it's better to keep them guessing. Yeah, certainly. And of course, I'm concerned with the operation in Syria because we did, no doubt, lift a lot of information off target. And I don't think we should release what that information entails. I'm sure the commanders are looking at it. What we don't want is a trap set up for a subsequent operation. And there's a strategic implementation about making sure we do things right. And there's a strategic consequence of losing a force like Delta or SEALs in subsequent operations by tipping our hand.
I don't see from my perspective, and obviously, you know, I don't think anyone knows with certainty what is the exact right thing to do in these instances, but I think the enemy, I think Al-Qaeda knows what we got. I think that the American people, from a transparency point of view, unless there's an overriding national security reason or danger to our teams or anything, the American people ought to know too.
Well, I think there's some things best left unsaid, and certainly to verify and confirm what we have to the enemy, I think is an unwise decision. Certainly, I think American public should know we were there eventually. But I think, too, is that when you say either Delta Force or SEAL Team 6, I think it's better to say U.S. Special Operations Forces and leave it at that. And there's always a danger when you get too close to, you know, individual trigger squeezes and delay. You know, relay information about specific units. I think there's a danger there, and it sets up for unintended consequences, and I think it puts our troops in harm's way.
Well, Congressman, it certainly is, you know, I also have this sort of a sense of pride because, you know, when we do hear about our special operations, yeah, they do an extraordinary job, so efficient, so brave, and do so much for us. So I actually think sort of almost from that perspective, I like to hear what they're doing.
Well, I'd say it's a teamwork. You know, these operations, there's hundreds of people involved, from the person that puts the gas cap on the helicopter to the intelligence, you know, tracking, and the Special Forces is a family, but we rely also on the services to provide support. So I think it's a tribute to our entire military when operations of this complexity are conducted in the fashion that we've seen, and it's almost an expectation that the next operation is going to be conducted like this. But I think should all look at these operations are enormously complex and risky.
Indeed, and dangerous to their lives as well. Anyway, Congressman, thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's always been a pleasure.